Hey y'all, Jeff here with Jeff's Garage Unfiltered. And so we're now in the new year and got a lot of stuff still going on. But you're going to see a couple things take place. I've got my heavy coat on, but it's starting to get warm in here. I had the big old kerosene heater thingy going. But what I wanted to show you was, prior to the last video, I or I guess during the last video, I was working on the underneath side of the trunk of the 280 SEL. Well, I've got half of it done. I don't know if you can see up in there with the sound deadening stuff. I still have. I've got another one cut that I'll make it into triangular pieces and get that put in. But, last video or a video or so ago, I talked about the my GL350. Well, I got to pull this car out of the garage. And I got to bring the GL in here. So I'll be doing a video and probably do it time lapse on the GL350 and changing the fuel filter. Now, we're going to go with or I'm going to at least go with the fuel filter, at least at this point. And I ordered this off of eBay. Here it is. It arrived. It arrived a couple of days early. Actually arrived yesterday. Wasn't due to be here till on Monday, but thanks and kudos to the U.S. Postal Service and whatever warehouse this came out of, because it was kind of weird. This had the shipping label was created in Ohio, but then it showed as shipping from Seattle. So hard telling. I mean, the main warehouse of where this came from must have been in somewhere in Ohio, and the final point where it comes from must have been Seattle. So I'm going to put that attempt myself without Yui. Hopefully, I've watched a couple YouTube videos on it, and while it's a couple of, it's complicated, and I'm going to do my own video on it as well, just so it kind of follows my sequence of everything that's been going wrong with that GL350. Now, hopefully this will solve the problem. There is a fuel pressure sensor that's in the lines leading up to this, but I didn't order that. I didn't know about that because the codes, the codes it was popping was the low pressure. And so assuming that this, and I went back on the service records, I don't think it's been changed at all. And so that tells me that I'm going to start with the maintenance part itself. Now, Mercedes, I know you guys love your engineering, and you're engineered to be, engineered like no other car in the world. Well, you're engineered. It is buried inside the engine compartment. Why don't you make a maintenance part a little bit easier to get to? You made the oil filter very easy to get to, but the fuel filter, if you're supposed to change it every 60,000 miles or every 80,000, I think it was 60,000. I'll have to check on the recommendations, and I'll edit over the top of what it is, but I believe it's every 60,000 miles. You don't make it easy to get to. The same with the PCV valve that Yui changed, that I've got a video on that took him, mainly he did most of the work on that one. It took him probably, about 3.5, 4 hours to do. So I'm going to hopefully get the GL in here. It's never been in this garage. So you know, I'll kick the heat on so I have some heat. I almost can shed this coat right now. I mean, it's 25 degrees outside. Got a little bit of light snow. Had to run up to the post office earlier today. And then I went and got some more kerosene for the torpedo heater. And, you know, just because I want it comfortable, I don't want to wear a heavy coat while I'm trying to lean over the engine compartment of the GL. So there you have it. And it'll be in the garage when they come tomorrow, so that, you know, if I have any issues, then, you know, he can finish it up. But I'm hoping not to have any issues, but we'll see. The other thing, you know, my F-150 is not here. I had to loan it to Yui and my daughter Madison because, well, the timing belt, it tossed the PT Cruiser, you know, that wonderful piece of Americana, it tossed the timing belt. So, you know, we first, you know, when he put the code reader on it, and this is where, you know, not paying attention to some of the normal things. You know, put the code reader on it. It said crankshaft position sensor. Common failure on, you know, that Chrysler PT Cruiser. So went and got one of those. That was $90 with tax. Put that on, nothing. I went and listened to it, and it sounded weird when it cranked. It just didn't sound like valves were opening, and it just sounded like it was just turning, you know, just turning a crankshaft or something. It just didn't sound right. And I thought, well, gosh, is it even firing? And, you know, Yui said that, well, he checked the, you know, spark, you know, he put his little spark plug tester thing on, and he was getting fire. Okay. If you're getting fire from the coil, but what's firing? And so thought, well, okay, another common failure point in those is the camshaft position sensor. And so went and got one of those. Fortunately, the auto parts store, basically 3 blocks from this house, they had one. Put it on, nothing. Still the same sound, no change. And so I took Madison to a doctor's appointment, and I said, you pop the cover off the timing belt, because that has a timing belt, not a chain. And sure enough, he could see, you know, he put his phone down there and went, you know, there's a little sight hole that you can open up, and you could see if the cam pulley is actually turning. If the cam pulley doesn't turn, then you have a problem. And sure enough, he put the camera in there and went and hit the starter. Nope, cam pulley wasn't moved. Didn't move at all. And so, fortunately, an auto parts store, there was 2 auto parts stores in the Omaha area that had it. And one was an O'Reilly's, and then the other was Advanced Auto Parts that had the whole kit, water pump and everything. And I thought, man, you know, that's $200 and some dollars. It was like $225 for the whole kit, but the belt itself was, you know, like $60, $70. I think it was $55.99 plus tax. And so I opted to, after Madison's appointment, we went down to an O'Reilly's, you know, in about the center part of Omaha, picked that up. It happens to be a Gates, so that's good. To me, that's a good brand. I've always had good luck with Gates belts. And bring it back to him. Of course, by now it's almost dark, and he didn't have half his tools, so I said, just jump in, we'll, you know, and you can just take my pickup back with you. So he's actually, hopefully, he's out working in the cold, in the snow. There's snow on the ground, changing the timing belt in the PT Cruiser. And for that, you've got to remove, you know, remove the right front wheel, and then you got to take out the inner fender liner. So when Madison and I got back, you know, and they live in Fremont, got back, he had the inner fender liner out. He had already, he needed a tool that he didn't have that I have, amazing how I might have something that he didn't have, because he's got boxes and boxes of tools. And it was like a 25 millimeter star something or other. But anyway, he had and he needed his pulley puller, or his pulley puller, which it was here. I have one too, someplace. And so by gathering all those tools, he is now hopefully today working on that, so that he can start that thing up. Because my wife, because the GL needs the fuel filter changed, it's short of power. She's got an appointment on Monday. Well, I can't take her, and it's only down the road in Blair, but it kind of sucks when cars go down. So I'm going to try and get the fuel filter changed in the GL. This has got to sit outside. Goodness gracious, it's going to drive on snow. I'm kind of holding off a little bit to drive it on the snow, but I took the 300 SD this morning, and its battery was weak. It wouldn't start, so I had to put a jump box on it, which my wife got me. Well, my wife or somebody got me this. I think Madison Huey got this for me. Something probably came off of Temu. A Chariville jump box. I don't know nothing about it, but it started the 560, which has got a completely dead and bad battery, and I can't really spend the $200 and some on a battery, but I may have to, because I need, got to have these cars as backups in case one fails, or I have to loan one out to one of the kids. So, but this started the diesel this morning, and got it to crank enough for it to start. So, maybe a cheap jump pack with the air, with an air, puts air in your tire kind of thing. But you know what? It worked. And so I don't know what this cost, but it sure was better than, I do have another jump pack I bought at Baumgart's. I got it around here somewhere. I bought it several years ago, but it's failed several times, and I might as well just throw it away. But, I'm an old fart. I just hang on to stuff. So, fuel filter for GL, underneath side of the trunk, and I don't know if I'm going to get the black carpet, which is up here, if I'm going to get that on there, because I ran out of, I had a can of, what's that brand? It's not Scotch, but I found the high-tack adhesive, Gorilla. I really, really liked it. And I only have this Craft Bond stuff left. And I was up at Baumgart's a little bit ago, and that's where I'd gotten the Gorilla. They didn't have any more. They had the 3M, which is about $8 more a can. And so I don't know if I'm going to hold off and put the black carpet up underneath there, or what I'm going to do. But this stuff needs to be warm in order to apply it. But I don't know if I'm going to get that. And crap, I didn't get more nuts for the speakers. Oh well, I'll get that later. Anyway, catch the next video on the GL350 as this old fart here is going to try and change the fuel filter myself without the help of Huey. Thanks for watching. I'm going to kick my torpedo heater on and get it warmed back up in here, and we'll catch you on the next one. Have a great day. And you see my backdrop? See what I got to deal with?